Good morning all of you. My name is Ashutosh Rastogi and today we will going to discuss about number system conversion and its complements. So these are the outlines. We are going to start up with the number system conversion. We had already discussed about various types of number systems such as your octal, decimal, binary as well as hexadecimal. So now in this particular slide we are going to study how we will going to convert among different number systems. So we will going to start up via converting our decimal to binary conversion. That is how we are going to convert our decimal integer into the binary conversion, which will be followed by the decimal fraction to the binary conversion. I mean, if the number is your decimal fraction, how we are going to convert into the binary number system. Then decimal to octal conversion. Then we are going to discuss binary to octal conversion, which will be followed by binary to hexadecimal, and at last we are going to discuss your octal to hexadecimal conversion. Then we will going to conclude this lecture by discussing the complements. What are they and what are the usage of complements? What do we mean by r's complement and r minus 1's complement? So all those things we are going to discuss in this particular lecture. So we are going to start up with decimal integer to binary conversion. So what are various steps that we have to follow in order to convert our decimal integer to binary number system? That is, first we are going to divide the number by its base, that is equal to 2. Since we need to convert it into binary number system and the base for binary number system is 2, so that is why we need to divide by this particular base, that is equal to 2. So now take the remainder, either 0 or 1. Obviously if we are dividing any number by 2, then the remainder would either be 0 or 1. Apart from that, none of the digits are possible. So we will going to take the remainder as a coefficient. Then we are going to take the quotient and repeat the above division. So these are the steps that we need to follow in order to convert our decimal integer to the binary number system. So let us quickly discuss a small example. Let us say we will be having 13 in your decimal number system and we need to convert them into your binary number system. So we just need to follow all these 3 steps that we have discussed above. So we are going to start up via dividing by 2. So when 13 will get divided by 2, then the quotient will equal to 6 and the remainder turns out to be 1. So here we are basically writing coefficients in a separate column, such as a0 will be equal to 1. Then again we will going to divide that quotient via the base, that is equal to 2. So 6 divided by 2, that turns out to be quotient will be equal to 0 and remainder turns out to be 0. And again we have write it down separately, a1 as 0. Then again similarly we will going to divide the quotient with the 2. So the quotient turns out to be 1 and the remainder is also equal to 1, and we have write this coefficient separately as a2 is equal to 1. Then again finally we will going to divide 1 by 2. So here the quotient turns out to be 0 and remainder turns out to be 1, and we have separately write it down, a3 is equal to 1. So this is the coefficient values a0, a1, a2, a3. So how we have to write these coefficients? These coefficients basically signifying your binary digits, but we need to keep in mind that how we have to write it so that they can equally convert, so they can equally represent your binary number system. So the order is important. Please keep in mind that we need to reverse this order, that is, this a3 will be your MSB and a0 will be your LSB. So the order should be like a3, a2, a1, a0 to the base 2. So 13 to the base 10, or you could say 13 in the decimal, will be equal to a3, a2, a1, a0 of base decimal, that is equal to 2. So we have write it down 1101. So this is the binary equivalent of decimal number 13. So this is how we will going to convert our integer decimal number into your binary number. So now we will going to discuss how we will going to convert our fractional decimal number into your binary conversion. So here also these are certain steps that we need to follow in order to convert our decimal fractional number into your binary number. So first we need to multiply it by the base, that is equal to 2, since we are talking about your binary number system. So now we'll need to take the integer either 0 or 1 as a coefficient, and in the next step what we're going to do is take the resultant fraction and repeat the division. So here in this third step there is a correction. This is not division, we basically have to multiply with the base. So now let us understand whatever we have studied so far via some example. So let us say that we need to convert 0.625 of decimal number. This is a fractional number, fractional decimal number, and we need to convert them into your binary number. So how we will going to do that? We will going to multiply it with the base. So here we will be having the number, that is your 0.625. It will get multiplied with 2. So we are left with 1.250. So here integer part turns out to be 1, and we have written fraction as 2.25. So we have separately written as coefficient. So whatever value of integer we are going to have, whether it is 0 or 1, we have to write it down separately as a of minus 1 turns out to be 1. Then again in the next step what we are going to do is we will again going to take up this fraction, that is your 0.25, and it will get multiplied again with the base, or you could say your value 2. So that turns out to be 0.5. So its integer part will be equal to 0 and its fractional part turns out to be 0.5. So again we have write it down the coefficient of as a the integer as a coefficient as a of minus 2 turns out to be 0. So this 0 we have written here. So next in the third step what we are going to do is we will going to again multiply this fractional part, that is your 0.5. It will get multiplied with this 2 and the outcome or turns out to be 1.0. So this 1 is your integer part and we have to write it down in here, and the fractional part turns out to be 0. So please keep in mind that we need to continue this exercise till we get the fractional part is equivalent to 0. Please keep in mind. And here again this basically coefficient terms basically representing your binary equivalent of your fractional decimal number. So here again we need to focus about its written order, such as we had already seen in our last slide that while we are converting our integer decimal number into the binary conversion, we just simply reverse the order, but here the order will remain same. So here order turns out to be 0.a of minus 1, a of minus 2, a of minus 3. So these are basically representing, you could say that these are representing the positions. So 0.a of minus 1, that is your 1, again your 0 and 1. So here we have to write them in the similar order. So the binary equivalent of decimal fractional number 0.625 turns out to be 0.101 of the base 2. So here your MSB turns out to be a of minus 1 and your LSB turns out to be a of minus 3. So please keep in mind while we are converting our decimal integer into the binary number conversion, we need to just reverse that order. That is, we have to start from here and we have to go to upward. Whereas while we are using or while we are converting our fractional decimal into the binary conversion, we just do not have to inverse our coefficient terms. We just have to write it down as it is. That is, we have to start from the top and write it down through it. So this is basically representing your fractional decimal conversion to your binary number system. So now we are going to discuss how we are going to convert our decimal to octal number system. So here also all the steps will going to remain same. We just need to change the value of radix, or you could say your base value. So for octal conversion, or you could say for your octal number system, your base value or radix value is equal to 8. So let us quickly understand it through some example that how we will going to convert our decimal number to octal number system. So what we are going to do is we will going to divide this decimal number via its radix, or you could say that its base. So for octal number system, we will be having the base value that is equal to 8. So we are going to divide this 175 by 8. So here quotient terms turns out to be 21, and remainder we are left with your 7. So this is your remainder term, and we have to write this remainder term as the coefficient, as a naught will be equal to 7, and then again we have to divide this quotient with the base value 8. So again the quotient turns out to be 2, and remainder turns out to be 5, and we have to write this remainder as a1 is equal to 5 in a separate column as a coefficient. So again when 2 will get divided by 8, so here quotient term turns out to be 2 and remainder turns out to be your 2. Sorry, your quotient terms turns out to be 0 and remainder turns out to be 2. So here the coefficient a2 turns out to be 2. So we have to follow the reverse order since we are converting our integer decimal number to octal number system. So same methodology would have been applied over here also. So 175 decimal will be equal to a2 a1 a0 of octal. So that turns out to be 257 of base 8. So here also you can closely observe that we have written as 257, that is we have written the coefficient terms in reverse order. So this is how we will going to convert our integer decimal number to octal number system. So again in this particular example we will going to convert our fractional decimal number system to your octal number system. So how we are going to do that? We just simply need to multiply the fractional part with the base value. So 0.3125 will get multiplied with 8, and we will going to have your 2.5. Here 2 is your integer part and 0.5 is your fractional part. So we have to separately write down this integer part. So integer part turns out to be a of minus 1 will be equal to 2, and again this fractional part, that is your 0.5, it will get multiplied with the base again, and we are left with integer value will be equal to 0, and integer part turns out to be 4 and your fractional value turns out to be 0. So now we have to stop it here, as we had already mentioned that we need to keep this follow this mechanism till the time we have got the fractional part will be equal to 0. So here again we have to write the coefficient terms as the integer value, that is turns out to be 4. So the octal equivalent of 0.3125 decimal, that is equal to 0.a1 a2 0.a of minus 1 a of minus 2 a of minus 3 of octal, that is turns out to be 0.24. Here one should keep in mind that we haven't inverse the order, we have just write it down in the same order, that is your 0.24 of octal. So this is how we will going to convert our decimal to octal number system. So now we will going to discuss how we will going to convert our binary number to octal number system. So first we need to keep in mind that 2 to the power 3 is equivalent to 8. So we basically have to convert our binary string into the groups or block of 3 bits, and the group of 3 bits basically represent the octal digit. So let us quickly understand how we will actually going to convert our binary number to octal number system. So suppose this is the given digit that we have, that is 10110.01. So this is representing the integer part and this is representing here its fractional part of binary number system, and we need to convert this binary number system to your octal number system. So what we have to do is we have to group all those binary bits we have to group all those bits into the group of 3 bits. So how we are going to do that? So if you closely observe that after this decimal we will only having this 2 numbers. So what we could do is we can increase a 0 after this 1, so that we can form a group of 3 bits. So we have added a 0 over here, And in the similar manner, if we are going to count out the number of digits in the left hand side, or you could say that integer value 1 2 3 4 5, so again we have to convert, so again we have to add a number of 0, so that we can have 6 number of digits, so that we can easily convert them into 2 blocks of 3 bits. So now we are going to have these 3 blocks. At our in fractional part, we will be having these 3 digits, that is 0 1 0, and in our integer part we will be having one block of this, that is 1 1 0, and second block of this, that is your 0 1 0. So if we closely observe that 0 1 0 is equivalent to the value of number 2, and this your 1 1 0 is basically representing the number 6, and this your 0 1 0 is basically representing 2. So the octal number equivalent to this binary number system turns out to be 26.2 of base 8. So here in this right side we have frame a table that we need to understand, that is an octal. If digit 0 would have been represented in binary as 000, 1 would have been represented as 001, 2 would have been represented as 010, 3 would have been represented as 011, 4 would have been represented as 100, 5 would have been represented as 101, and 6 would have been represented as 110, and 7 would have been represented as 111. So this is just the binary equivalent of these digits. If you closely observe that, and it basically works in both the ways, that is whether you are trying to convert your octal to binary or you are trying to convert your binary to octal. So hopefully you will get the insight that how we are going to convert our binary to octal number system. So process is quite simpler. We just only need to group the number of bits into the block of 3 bits, and then we will going to find out or write down the octal number representation of those group of binary bits. So suppose if we get the group of 100, then its octal representation will be equal to 4. If the block of bits are represented as 001, then we need to write 1 in your octal number system. So we had already discussed that it works in both ways, that is binary to octal or octal to binary number system. So this is how we basically going to convert our binary number to octal number system. So now in this particular slide it is showing how we are going to convert our binary to hexadecimal conversion. So here also in this particular table we have represented various hexadecimal number system to its binary equivalent, that is 0 would have been represented as 000, 1 would have been represented as 001. In the similar manner 9 would have been represented as 1001. A, B, C, D, E, F, they would have been represented like F would have been represented as 1111. So this is the hexadecimal number, and this is its binary equivalent or its binary representation. So again, if we closely observe that 16 is equal to 2 to the power 4, so we need to take the group of 4 number of bits. So each group of 4 bits basically represent an octal digit. So here also correction, it has to be your hexadecimal digit. For octal digit we need to have a group of 3 bits, but here it is showing your hexadecimal digit. So again let us quickly understand the same example with the help of so here again we need to understand it whatever we have learned so far with the help of an example. So suppose we are going to have these digits 10110.01 in a binary, and we need to convert them into the hexadecimal number. So what we have to do is we have to group our bits into the block of 4 digits. So if we closely observe that after decimal we will be only having these 2 digits, so we need to add these 2 zeros over here. And in the similar manner, if we are going to count down how many number of bits we are going to have at the left side of our decimal number system, that at the left side of your of our decimal, that is your 1 2 3 4 5. So we need to add these 3 zeros so that we can group them, all of them, into the block of 4 bits. So this is our first block, this is our second block, and this is our third block. So this 0 1 0 0 will be equivalent to your 4, this 0 1 1 0 will be equivalent to your 6, and 0001 will be equivalent to your 1. So this binary number value, that is 10110.01 of binary, will be equivalent to 16.4 into this into hexadecimal. So this is how we will going to convert our binary number system to your hexadecimal number system. So now in this particular slide, we will going to show how we will going to convert our octal to octal number system to hexadecimal number system. So convert to binary as an intermediate step. So what we could do is, initially we are going to convert them, or we could understand it like we need to write down its binary equivalent. So whatever number system we have, that is we are dealing either with octal number system or hexadecimal number system, it is quite easier if we are going to convert them into your binary number system. So it is basically a convenient way, and then simply we will going to take down the group of bits, that is if we need to convert them into hexadecimal number system, in that particular case we will going to take up the block of 4 bits, and if we are converting to octal number system, we need to take up the group of 3 bits. So here we need to convert octal to hexa. We need to understand how we are going to convert our octal to hexadecimal conversion. So here the first step is, whatever number system given to us, that is your octal or hexadecimal, first we need to convert them into your binary number system. So suppose we will be having the octal number as 26.2. So in the first step we need to convert them into your binary number system. So 2 would have been written as 010 as your binary number system. 6, the binary equivalent of 6 would have been written as 110, and the binary equivalent of 2 would have been written as 010. So this is basically representing the binary number equivalent to this 26.2 octal number system. So from this binary, how we will going to get the hexadecimal number system? The process we have understood in our last slide, that we need to take the grouping of these bits of 4. So again 010, we need to add a bit 0 in order to get the group of 4 bit. Then again 0101, this is our first group, this is our second group, and again we need to append these 2 zeros, and this is our third group, and we need to write down its equivalent number system. So 0100 would have been written as 4, 0110, so its equivalent number is equal to 6, and 0001, its equivalent number is 1. So the octal value of 26.2 would have been written as 16.4 in your hexadecimal number system. So this is how we basically going to convert our octal to hexadecimal conversion. So please keep in mind that if we will convert them any either octal or hexadecimal to your binary number system, our work will get easily done. So how we are going to do that, we had already discussed. So here this particular thing also works in both the ways, that is either we are trying to convert octal to hexadecimal, or we are trying to hexadecimal to octal. So how we are going to convert our octal to hexadecimal, we had already seen via this particular example. So this particular slide is basically showing the decimal, binary, octal and hexadecimal equivalent digits, that how we are going to represent them. So decimal number systems, in decimal number system 00, 01, 02 up to 15. So its binary equivalent for 0 will be having 0000, for octal we will be having 00, and for hexadecimal we will be having 0. So this particular table is actually showing that how different digits in decimal number system would have been represented in terms of binary, octal or hexadecimal. So these are basically the equivalent numbers to each other. So this particular table will be very helpful while converting, while conversion process. So now we're going to discuss about complements. So complements basically used to represent negative numbers. So there are two types of complements for each base R system, that is the radix complement and the diminished radix complement. So in short, base R or the radix complement will have been called as your R's complement, and diminished radix, that is your radix will get diminished by 1, that would have been called as your R minus 1's complement. So diminished radix complement. So first we will going to discuss about R minus 1's complement. So given a number n in base R having n digits, the R minus 1 complement of n is defined as, this is the generalized formula by which we will going to define the R minus 1's or diminished radix complement. So that would have been given as R to the power n minus 1, where R is representing the base value and n is representing the number of digits in the number, minus 1 minus of n. So this capital N basically representing the number whose R minus 1's complement we need to calculate. So let us quickly understand via some example. So let us take the example of 6-digit decimal number. So 9's complement of is R to the power n minus 1 minus capital N. So why we are calling them as 9's complement? Since decimal number system radix value is 10 and R minus 1 turns out to be 9. So that is why we are calling them as your 9's complement. So that will be equal to R to the power n minus 1, where R is representing the base and n representing the number of digits in the number. So that turns out to be 10 to the power 6 minus 1 minus capital N, where n represents the number for which we need to calculate the R minus 1 complement. So R minus 1's complement or 9 complement for this 6-digit decimal number would have been given as 999,999 minus n. So this is the generalized version of your R minus 1's complement. This is how we are going to calculate the R minus 1's complement. So you just simply need to understand that if you need to calculate the 9's complement, you need to subtract that number from the 999,999, or you could say that the number of 9's will be equal to the number of digits in your number. So you need to subtract individual digits by 9, and whatever you are left with, this will be the 9's complement, or you could say your R minus 1's complement. So let us understand it with an example. Suppose the digit capital N will be equal to 546700, and you need to calculate its 9's complement, or you could say your R minus 1's complement or diminished radix complement. So how we are going to evaluate is, we had already seen via this particular expression the number of digits, that is 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this is your 6-digit number. So we will be having 999,999 minus 546700. So when you will evaluate this particular expression, we are left with 453,299. So this is the 9's complement of this particular number. Hopefully you have got the idea. So now just continuing our discussion, let us consider an example for 7-digit binary number. So how we are going to calculate its diminished radix coefficient or R minus 1's complement. So obviously the base value in your binary number system is 2, and when we are talking about R minus 1's complement, that is for 2 minus 1 you will be having 1's complement. So diminished radix complement of binary number system would have been called as your 1's complement, and definition wise it will again remain same, R to the power n minus 1 minus of n. So here R is representing radix, small n representing the number of bits, and this capital N representing the digit to which we need to calculate its complement. So here also we will be having 2 to the power 7 minus 1 minus n. So when we are going to subtract 2 to the power 7 minus 1, we are left with 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. So basically we are left with the 7 number of 1 in continuation, or you could say that the number of digits to which we need to calculate its r minus 1's complement or 1's complement, we need to subtract our number from those number of 1's only. That is 7 contagious 1 stream we have, and we need to subtract our number from this 7 contagious stream of 1's. So let us say we need to calculate the 1's complement of this number, that is your 1 0 1 1 0 0, and we need to calculate its 1's complement. So what we are going to do is we are going to subtract this number from the 7 contagious digits of 1, that is 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 minus 1 0 1 1 tetra 0. So when we are going to subtract this 1, when we are going to subtract this 0 from this 1, we are left with 1. Then again 1 minus 0, that is again equal to 1. Then again 1 minus 0, that is again equivalent to 1. 1 minus 1, that is equal to 0. Again 1 minus 1, that is equal to 0. 1 minus 0, again that is equal to 1. And your 1 minus 1, again that will be equal to 0. So this is basically representing the 1's complement of the given digit. So here some of the specific observations that need to be addressed. So what are those observations? So subtraction from r to the power n minus 1 will never require a borrow. This is our first observation. Second is diminished radix complement can be computed digit by digit. That is, we had already seen that we need to subtract or we need to calculate the complement value via computing digit by digit. For binary subtraction, 1 minus 0 will be equal to 1 and 1 minus 1 will be equal to 0. So these are the observations. Or one more thing you could easily understand it, that is for calculating 1's complement, you just only need to flip the bits, or you could say that you just only need to change the bits. That is, if you have 0, then for calculating its complement you need to invert them, that is 0 would have been replaced with 1 and 1 would have been replaced with 0. So this is a shortcut trick by which you can calculate the 1's complement of n-ary for any binary number. So 1's complement, diminished radix complements. So this is what I am talking about. For in order to calculate 1's complement for any binary number system, you just only need to invert these bits, or you could say that all zeros will become 1's and all 1's will become 0. So this is how we are going to calculate the 1's complement. So for example, this is the binary number system to which we need to calculate its 1's complement. So the number is 1011 tetra 0. So its 1's complement turns out to be, all these 0 would have been replaced with 1, and this 1 or all these 1's will going to replace with zeros. So we will going to left with this particular number, and this will be the 1's complement of this particular number. So if you are going to add a number with its complement, what will going to happen is it will going to give us 1 1 1 1 1 1 1, or you could say that it will going to give us the combination of or group of 1's, that is and the number of these 1's or length of these number of 1's will be equal to the number of bits in the digit. So about diminished radix complement we have already discussed. So now we are going to continue our discussion with your radix complement, or you could say your r's complement. So the r's complement of an n digit number, capital N in base r, is defined as r to the power n minus n for n is not equal to 0, and as 0 for n is equal to 0. That is, if the number is equal to 0, then its R complement will also be equal to 0, and if the number is not equal to 0, then its R's complement would have been defined as R to the power n minus capital N, where n is the number whose R's complement we need to calculate. So for complement, we know that the R's complement is obtained by adding 1 to R minus 1's complement. So this is one of the important point. Suppose if you know the R minus 1's complement and you need to calculate its R's complement, then you simply going to add a single 1 and you will going to get the value of R's complement. So since R's complement would have been written as R to the power n minus n, this is how we are going to evaluate the R's complement. So we can simply manipulate this expression as R to the power n minus 1 minus n plus 1. So we just simply have added 1 and subtracted 1. So but this R to the power n minus 1 minus n, so this particular expression is representing your R minus 1's complement, and if you are going to add with this 1, you will going to get this R's complement. So this is what we are trying to make you understand, that this is what this statement we had already maintained. So let us quickly understand whatever we have studied by a certain example. So example of base 10. So the tens complement of this particular number 012398 will be equal to 987602. So in order to calculate your tens complement, what we will going to do is we will going to count down the number of bits, that is 1 2 3 4 5 6. So 10 to the power 6 minus 012398. So when we are going to evaluate that, we will going to left with 987602. And in the similar manner, the tens complement of your 246700 will be equivalent to 753300. So the process will going to remain same. So we will going to subtract this digit from 10 to the power 6. So we are left with 753300. So this is how we will going to evaluate the R's complement, or we could say that tens complement for your decimal number. So now let us take another example of binary number system where base equal to 2. So the 2's complement of this particular digit, this is representing your capital N, this is the number 1101100. So we need to calculate its 2's complement. So again what we will going to do is we will going to subtract this number from 2 to the power the number of digits this particular number will going to have, that is your 7. 2 to the power 7 minus this. So that turns out to be 0010100. So this is the 2's complement. So you can also directly calculate this 2's complement via R minus 1's complement or 1's complement. So this is a smaller trick. What I am going to follow is whenever we need to calculate the 2's complement of any binary digit, I just simply going to calculate its 1's complement, and then we will going to add a single 1, and whatever result we will going to have, that will be the 2's complement of that particular number. So you could easily seen from this particular example. So 1101100, its 1's complement turns out to be 1100100, and when we will going to add a single digit 1, so we will going to left with 1 plus 1, that is equal to 0, again carry 1, then 1 plus 1, that is equal to 0, again carry 1, then 1 is in here, then again 1 plus 1, that is equal to 0, then again. So in the similar manner we can easily evaluate this particular expression as your 2's complement. So the 2's complement of this another digit 0110111, that turns out to be 100101. So you can simply check it out. So the 2's complement or the radix complement, how we are going to do that? We basically, this is the another method that we have discussed. Now how we can calculate the 2's complement via 1's complement. So this is a shortcut method that I have tried to make you understand, but here in this particular example you will get the complete insight what I am talking in our last slide. So take 1's complement and then add 1. So this is what I have telling you. I am telling you. So toggle all bits to the left of the first one from the right. So one thing what you could do is you can take the 1's complement and then add a single digit 1. So this is the first option that you can do is in order to calculate the r's complement of the given binary number. And as a shortcut, what you can do is you need to toggle all the bits left to the first one from the right. So let us understand by some example whatever 2 points we have made. So here this left side portion will going to represent what we have discussed in our first point, and this is basically showing what we have discussed in our second point. So we're going to take up one by one. Suppose the number whose 2's complement we need to calculate is 1011 tetra 0. So this is the binary number whose 2's complement we need to calculate. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 1's complement of this particular number, and how we can do that? By simply flipping, that is 0 will be represented as 1, this 0 again 1, for 0 we have written 1, for again 0 we have written 1, this 1 we have written 0, this one we have written 0, this 0 we have written 1, and this one we have written 0, and then we will going to add this number 1. So 1 plus 1 we will be having this 0, then carry 1, then 1 plus 1 again 0, carry 1, 1 plus 1 again 0, carry 1, 1 plus 1 again 0, carry 1, this 0 plus 1 will be having 1, this 0 will be having 0, this 1 will be having this 1, this 0 will be having this 0. So this is basically representing the 2's complement of this particular number. So this is the first mechanism that we have discussed, and in the second mechanism what we are going to do is we need to toggle all the bits. By toggling we mean that we need to replace 0 as a 1 and 1 as a 0. So how are we going to perform this toggle operation? We will not going to perform the toggle operations for all the bits. We need to toggle those bits only which lying left side of the first one from the right. So this is our left side and this is our right side. So from the right we need to check it out where first one appears. So this is 0, this is 0, this is 0, this is 0, this is our first one, and the left side from this first one we need to perform this toggle. That is, for this one we need to toggle, or we need to put a 0 for that. For 1 we have to write as 1, and for 1 we have to write as 0. So if we can see that this 0 0 0 0, for this 0 we again have written 0, this 0 we have again written this 0, and for this first one we have written this 1, and then after that the left side whatever bits we have we need to perform toggling operation, or we just need to invert them. That is, for this 1 we have written 0, for 0 we have this written 1, and for this 1 we have written 0. So you can simply find out that in both the cases your answer will remain same. So by these two mechanisms we can easily calculate the 2's complement of your binary number. So now we are going to discuss the subtraction with the complements. How we are going to perform the subtraction operation with the help of complements. So the subtraction of two n-digit unsigned numbers, that is m minus n in base r, can be done as follows. So basically one point I should make that we had already discussed that for complements are basically representing the negative numbers. So if you need to perform the subtraction operation with the help of addition, what you can do is you can add the complement of that particular number in order to perform this subtraction operation. So please keep in mind. So how we are going to do that? So add the minute m to the r's complement of the subtrahend n mathematically m plus r to the power n minus n, that will be equivalent to m minus n plus r to the power n. So this is how we will going to perform this operation. So here again two cases arises. What are they? Either m will be greater than equal to n or m will be less than equal to n. So here m is representing the minute. So if m is greater than or equal to n, the sum will produce the AND carry. So if the minute value or the number from which you are subtracting another number, if that particular number is greater than the second number, in that particular case AND carry will get generated, which will be discarded. What is left is the result of m minus n. So if m is greater than n, we need to discard the AND carry, whereas if m is less than n, in that particular case sum will not going to produce any AND carry and is equal to r to the power n minus times of n minus m, so which is the r's complement of n minus m. And in order to obtain the answer is in a familiar form, take the r's complement of the sum and place a negative sign in front. So although this might be looking quite cumbersome, but we will going to discuss certain examples, so you'll get clear about all these points. So in our example, using tens complement, we need to perform this subtraction operation, that is 72532 minus 3250. So as we had already say that complements are representing the negative numbers. So if we need to perform this subtraction operation, what we could do is, for one thing, we can directly subtract them, and if we need to perform this subtraction operation with the help of complement, then what we're going to do is we need to find out the complement of this particular number and we need to add up with this m. So whatever value we're going to get is, that will be our answer. So what we're going to do is, here m will be equal to 72532, this is your m, and your n, that which is will be the tens complement of 3250. So tens complement would have been evaluated as 96750. So the summation of these two m plus n turns out to be this 2 plus 0, that is 2, 3 plus 5, that is your 8, 5 plus 7, that is your 12, carry 1, 6 plus 2, 8 plus 1, that is your 9, then 9 plus 7, that is your 16. So here one should keep in mind that the value of n, sorry, the value of capital M is greater than your capital N. So here we are going to generate this AND carry. So we need to discard this AND carry as r to the power n, that will be equal to 10 to the power 5. So when we are going to subtract this, we are left with 69282, and that will be the answer. So you can easily check it out, and this is what our first point is saying. So let us take another example where we need to subtract 3250, where we need to subtract 72532 from 3250. So here please keep in mind the value of n is greater than your value of capital M. So here you can see that the value of capital M is less than the value of capital N. So what we are going to do is, so here the value of M turns out to be 03250, and we need to take the r's complement or tens complement of this particular number. So what we are going to do is, we need to subtract all these digits from 9 and we are going to add 1. So this is how we can calculate the tens complement. So its tens complement turns out to be 27468, and when we are going to sum up this 8 plus 0, that is 8, 6 plus 5, that is 11, carry 1, 4 plus 3, again 7, 7 plus 3, 0, carry 1, 2 plus 1, 3. So 30718. So here in this particular case, when the value of m is less than n, there will be no carry that will get generated. So this is what our third point is saying. Hopefully you will get the insight. So how we are going to evaluate the answer from this particular thing? So therefore the answer turns out to be minus tens complement of 30718. So whatever summation value we are going to have, we need to calculate its tens complement and we have to put a negative sign, and that will be the answer of the expression. So that turns out to be the tens complement of 30718 turns out to be 69282, and we have to put a negative sign over here. So this will be the answer of this particular expression. So this is how we will going to perform the subtraction operation with the help of R's complement. So in this particular third example, given that the two binary numbers x will be 1 0 1 0 1 0 0 and y will be 1 tetra 0 1 1, we need to perform the subtraction. In the first part we have to calculate x minus y, and the second part we have to calculate y minus x by using 2's complement. So in our last slides we have taken this R's complement as your in your binary in your decimal number systems, and in this particular example we need to evaluate or perform this subtraction operation with the help of R's complement in your binary number system, or you could say that with the help of 2's complement we need to find out this subtraction operation or this expression. So here x will be equal to 1 0 1 0 1 0 0, this is the number, and 2's complement of y would have been calculated as 0 1 1 1 1 0 1. So either you can do one thing, first you need to convert it into 1's complement and then add 1, or in the second method what you could do is you need to calculate the first one from the right side, that is your 1, and after that you need to flip off the digits, that is this 1 will get replaced with 0 and this all the 0 will get replaced with 1, and this 1 will be having this we are going to write this 0 in place of this particular 1. So this is basically representing your 2's complement of the digit y. So when we are going to perform this summation, we are left with this 1 plus 0, that is your 1, 0 plus 0 again 0, 1 plus 1 0 carry 1, that is 1 plus 1 again 0 carry 1, 1 plus 1 plus 1, that is your 1, and again carry 1, 1 plus 1 that is 0 carry 1, 1 plus 1 that is 0 carry 1, and we have this carry. So here also the value of x is greater than value of y, so that is why we are getting this carry and we need to discard them, and in order to discard them we need to subtract this 2 to the power 7 from this particular summation operation. So we are left with this 0 0 1 0 0 1. So this will be the answer of this particular expression x minus y. So here we have to discard the carry which will be shown in your which would have been discussed in your second point, and in the second part we need to find out the value of y minus x. So here y is equal to 1 0 0 0 0 1 1, and 2's complement of x would have been represented by this 0 1 0 1 1 0 0, and in the similar manner as we have discussed we have calculated this 2's complement of x. So here the value of x is lesser than the value of y, so that is why there will be no carry generation. So we just simply need to take the summation of this y and the 2's complement of x, and we are left with this 1 plus 0, that is your 1 1 1 1 0 1 1. So this is the summation operation. So here one can easily evaluate that there will be no generation of carry. So therefore the answer is y minus x turns out to be minus the 2's complement of this particular sum. So that turns out to be minus times of 0 0 1 0 0 1. So this will be the answer of this y minus x. So this is how we are going to perform the subtraction operation with the help of complements. So the subtraction of unsigned numbers can also be done by means of r minus 1's complement. Remember that the r minus 1's complement is 1 less than the r's complement. So subtraction operation, as we had already discussed, that for subtraction operation we are using complements, and since the complements are of two types, that is your radix complement and diminished radix complements, so with the help of r minus 1's complement, this the subtraction operation would have also been accomplished. So let us take the example. So for example, we have taken, we are basically repeating the example, last example, but this time we will be using this your 1's complement rather than 2's complement. So again, x minus y, in order to calculate that, we have this 1 0 1 0 1 double 0, and for y we have complemented them, or we are basically using the 1's complement of digit y, that turns out to be. So basically here this is representing your x and this is representing your y. So x would have been represented as this, and the 1's complement of y, we just simply need to take the invert numbers systems, or invert numbers. For 1 we have to write this 0, and for 0 we have to write this 1. So this is representing the 1's complement of y. So we basically have to add this complement with the x. So we are left with this particular sum, that is 1 0 0 1 tetra 0. So here also we can, see that there are existing an end round carry, and what we are going to do is we are going to add this round carry to this 1, as 1 plus 0, that is equal to 1, and then 0 will be having 0, for this 0 will be having 0, for this 0 will be having 0, for this 1 will be having this 1, 0 0. So what we have to do is we basically have to plug this 1 from here, which is your AND round carry, and we have to add it in here. So this is basically representing the answer of x minus y. So this is the process of r minus 1's complement by which we are performing subtraction operation. So in the second part, where we have to evaluate y minus x, so y would have been given as 1 tetra 0 1 1, and x would have been given as 1 0 1 0 1 double 0. So this expression we have to evaluate. So y would have been written as same 1 tetra 0 1 1, and for subtracting this x, first we need to calculate its 1's complement, since we need to perform this subtraction operation with the help of 1's complement. So what we're going to do is we need to evaluate its 1's complement, and we're going to perform this addition operation. So we are left with this sum as 1 1 0 triple 1 0. So here one should be clear that we will not going to have the carry. There is no AND carry. So therefore the answer is of y minus x is the 1's complement of this summation with the negative sign. So the 1's complement of this particular sum is 1 0 0 0 1 0 0, and we have to put this minus sign. So that will be the outcome, or that will be the answer of this particular expression. So hopefully you have got the idea about the complements as well as the various number system convergence. These are the references that we have used while preparing this lecture. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.